Hello and welcome to World Circular Textiles Day 2021. Welcome to you all. Thanks for joining us. My name is Professor Becky Early. I'm co-director of Centre for Circular Design at University of the Arts in London, which is where we're streaming from today. And also a co-founder of World Circular Textiles Day. And I'd really like you to meet the other co-founders.
Thanks, Becky. My name's Cyndi Rhoades, and I'm the founder of Worn Again Technologies and a co-founder in World Circular Textiles Day. Happy WCTD 2021.
And I'm Kate Goldsworthy, and I'm co-founder of World Circular Textiles Day and also the Centre for Circular Design.
And we're missing our fourth brilliant co-founder today, Gwen Cunningham from Circular Economy Amsterdam, who's actually in Dublin, but has not come to London. She's joining us by Twitter today. And so if you want to follow her and pose questions, please tweet using the hashtag WCTD2021. So we're going to start by explaining what World Circular Textiles Day is and what the vision is, and why we're doing this. So Cyndi, over to you.
As a reminder, we have a vision for full textile circularity by 2050. What do we mean by full circularity? Well, it's a time when our shared textile resources in the form of products and materials are kept in continual circulation, in balance with planetary boundaries and aligned with the Paris Climate Agreement targets. It's also a time when there's dignity, equity, and equality for all people across the circular value chain.
And I think, it was that circular momentum that really we wanted to capture with this whole project. We felt so much going on, but let's bring it together into one positive place to share.
And the idea really with this year was to chart circularity, or every year to chart circularity momentum and to celebrate progress. And that's really important because last year, when we launched World Circular Textiles Day, we had this idea that it would take 30 years to get to full circularity. We realized we have a lot of the puzzle pieces together today. We understand what this system might be like. It's starting to take shape. But the ecosystem of partnerships, relationships, actions across business, government, cities and academia it's a long road ahead. So we really wanted to have a focal point every year where we could, take stock and celebrate to re-energize us. So we have, excitement to go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it's about the visions. It's about the fact that we're aiming for something so incredibly, ambitious, actually, and that it will need a lot of commitment and a lot of resources and a lot of change. And I think that in order to bring people on that journey, they need to see what it might be like, what it is that we're talking about when we talk about circularity. Is it just a recycled textile? No, it's not. It's so much more. It's part of this whole vision of how circularity can actually drive all kinds of change. So for me, it's about annually being able to really look at what might be possible, as well as celebrate the progress that is being made. So in light of that, here we are today. What's coming up? What's in the lineup? First of all, we've got our year in review. So Cyndi will be taking us through some of the key projects, some of the key decisions actually that we made in this first year, and how we've been setting up and creating the foundations of the movement of the platform. And then we have three sections. We have raw materials. We have a review of everything that's changed in the field in the last year. And Kate will present that. And then we have products and services. And Gwen will give us a picture of how things have changed in the last year, actually what we mean by products and services and why they're so important to the circular economy. And finally, people and society. Who are the people? What does circularity mean for them? How might they benefit? And how can we kind of cater to the sort of social change that would be a win-win, a desire for all involved in the future of circular textiles? So I want to flag to you again that we'd love to hear from you on Twitter. hashtag WCTD2021. And in just a little bit, we'll be opening up the chat here in Zoom too. But you can always find out about what we're doing on YouTube. So WCTD has a YouTube channel. We've put lots of the films there already from our founding signatories. They've been sending us 3-minute reports on what they've been up to this year. So that's really important. Go and have a look at their reports, but also sign up to World Circular Textiles Day at the website. And there's a sign up there where you can receive our newsletters and become one of the signatories. So without further ado, I'd like to move us into part 1, which is the year in review. Cyndi, what's been happening?
Quite a lot, Becky. So in this section, we're going to look at circular progress over the last year. Not just what we've been working on, but it's all about our signatories and what they've been doing across the network. That's why we exist. We have over 100 signatories now from across all sectors and areas across the industry. And of course, if you're not a signatory, we invite you to join to be part of it. So to kick off our own activities in our first year at WCTD, we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how best to create a platform which could track circular textiles progress and how to capture the growing amount of activities around the world that was happening. And we had this idea to create a living, breathing virtual time capsule that would evolve as we get closer to 2050. But before we could work out how we were going to capture all of this data or the bustle of activity, we wanted to first imagine what our endpoint is. What does full circularity look like? How do we imagine it? And so we broke it down into 3 digestible themes. And Kate, this was an important part of establishing the vision and also the framework, like you were saying, the foundation, Becky, of how we were going to take things forward. So maybe you could share a bit more.
Definitely, we really had to work out what the themes, what the threads were that were going to get us to full circularity, and we've ended up with raw materials, people and society, as well as product and services. And I think our initial idea was to somehow have a live mapping process that almost knitted those threads together to get us to 2050. But I think they've become more than that, and they've really developed with our partners, with our signatories, into the ground rock of everything we're doing.
Well, and what was great was after we crafted what we thought might be the 3 themes that take us forward, we sent that out to our signatories and got a collective togetherness and collaboration around the actual terminology.
I don't think it'll be static either, right? It'll develop over the next few years and grow.
That's great. So we had our 3 themes and our visions. Our next task was to work out a way of how we capture and populate all of the data in the virtual time capsule to 2050. And on that note, I will hand it over to Gwen from Circle Economy to share more about how we've collaborated with her team to do this.
Yes, thank you, Cyndi. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you the work that's been going on behind the scenes in the past few months as part of the Global Mapping Project. So what is the Global Mapping Project and why did we feel like it was needed? Well, we know that in order to chart how to get to 100% circularity by 2050, we need to know where we stand today. And by that, I mean what circular activity is currently happening in the textiles and apparel industry, and where in the world is it happening. Information on this front is very fragmented, siloed, incomplete at the moment. We wanted to give it a home. So our aim was to build the world's largest digital library of circular textile case studies, which we call the WCTD collection. And a case study here is really a relatively generic term for a knowledge item. For us, it means three things. It can be what we call a business case, that's a company or an initiative that's implementing a circular strategy. It can be a policy case, so a regional, national, or international policy related to circular textiles. Or it can be a report, so a piece of research or analysis that provides further insight on the topic. And how did we go about this? Well, the first thing we did was we teamed up with Circular Economy and their existing Knowledge Hub. The Knowledge Hub is an open, collaborative circular economy library that already has over 3,000 case studies in it. But very few of those are textiles and apparel related, and we wanted to change that. The second thing we did was we started to recruit. We wanted to build a team around this project to fill up this library that we had just created. So we put out a global call. We were looking for bachelor's students, MA students, PhD students, early career researchers who all had a passion around the topic of circular textiles and felt, I suppose, a kinship to the mission that we were on. And we received hundreds of applications. It was incredibly delightful to see the reaction that we got from you. And we narrowed it down and we selected 40 researchers spread out across 14 different countries, 26 different nationalities. And that became our global mapping team. Now this team, we're working across two key roles. So on one hand, we had our contributors. Those were the folks who were researching, creating and uploading case studies onto the library. And each contributor was assigned to a specific topical area, for instance, bio-based materials or mechanical recycling. And then we had our curators. This was a select number of people who were our trusted team to review every case that was going up and ensure that it was of a certain quality, that it was complete, and that it got their seal of approval. And these two teams in combination have been working against the clock since July to build up the foundation of World Circular Textiles Day collection. And I am delighted to say today that between what they collected, over 200 new cases, and what we already had in the library, the WCTD collection now stands at over 500 global cases that have been mapped. And for us, this is incredible work. We are so grateful to everything that they've done, but we also see it as really just the tip of the iceberg. We know that there is so much more activity out there. And we want this library to act as a living repository. We want it to be a kind of dynamic time capsule. As the arena of circular textiles and apparel expands, so too should this library. And so we were going to continue in this vein, continue with the global mapping project and the community. And also in 2022, work with technology partner Volition to try and create a visual dashboard that shows how this activity is moving or expanding across the globe. I will ask you all to get involved. The first thing you can do is just get inspired, visit the WCTD collection, peruse the case studies, learn and see what's happening globally right now. You will be amazed by what we can already be proud of. The second is to add to the collection. So you can add your case study. It's just like a Wikipedia in that sense, and put your work on the map. Make sure that you are represented as a company, as an entrepreneur, as an innovator. What is it? And then the third thing that you can do is, if you want to get more actively involved and really contribute your time and your energy to this, we would love to have you join our dedicated community of mappers. So please do get in touch if you're interested. And on that note, I'm going to give the final word to our global mapping team, who will see us out with a little video on their experience of the whole project. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Katina Elvisan. I'm an interior designer originally from Romania. As part of the Global Mapping Project, I have been mapping circular textiles in the field of rental over the past 3 months. I believe the Global Mapping Project is needed because we have a pressing global crisis for needing to create circular textiles, for needing to implement those into other fields of work other than fashion, like interior design and product design. And my experience with the Global Mapping Project has been wonderful. I have had the amazing opportunity to meet people from different industries that are passionate about sustainability and creating a better economical and societal environment in the textile industry. I could not pick one case study from the Global Mapping Project because they are so diverse, so wide, cover so many ranges of products and of design systems that it is just hardly impossible to pick one. And the last thing I want to say is that this is also a call for action. We need you, the person that is watching this, to help us. If you are in the field of circular textiles, if you know anyone, then join us in the Global Mapping Project and upload your case study on the Knowledge Hub. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cyndi Rhoades and I'm an MA graduate in the field of sustainable fashion and creative industries from South Africa. For the last 3 months, I've been researching the fields of chemical and mechanical recycling, as well as acting as a curator for the project. Mapping is so needed because we don't really have a full picture of where we're at, and in order to achieve circularity by 2050, we really need to have an understanding of the ecosystem, the main stakeholders that are involved, and where this activity is happening. So the Global Mapping Project is all about providing that data and helping us to paint the picture to move ahead. I've really enjoyed being able to meet other circularity enthusiasts while also broaden my own understanding of regions that aren't quite related to my field of research. My favorite case study has actually been one that's been quite close to home, and that involves Rewoven, who are a mechanical recycling innovation project who are looking to scale South Africa's recycling capabilities while also working with local communities to create much needed jobs. And finally, the Global Mapping Project is far from complete. We need more cases in order to paint that picture. So if you're someone who's involved in circular textiles, any initiatives or research projects or even innovation projects, or if you know of one that's happening in your country, please head on over to the Global Mapping Project now and put your case there. We need you. We can't wait to see what you have to say.
Hi, my name is Atya Haider and I'm an MA student from Pakistan. As part of the Global Mapping Project, I have been mapping circular textile activities in the field of traceability and transparency systems. I think that the Global Mapping Project is playing a very important role towards the circularity of the textile industry. It is unifying the efforts the industry is making for a sustainable future. And the best part is that it is focusing on the positive impacts being made all over the world. As an MA student volunteering for the Global Mapping Project, this project has increased my awareness and knowledge about the textile industry to a great extent. And the most interesting part actually about this project has been connecting with like-minded people from all over the world and exchanging different point of views about the textile industry. Lastly, we need you. The WCTD collection is far from complete. Do you know of circular textile activities in your region? Or are you involved in a circular company, initiative, or research project? Then join our Global Mapping Project and upload your case to the Knowledge Hub. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chiara and I'm a designer PhD student from Italy based in the UK. As part of the Global Mapping Project, I've been mapping circular textile activity in the field of chemical recycling over the past 3 months. A Global Mapping Project is needed because it's very important to have the bigger picture of what is going on around the world in terms of innovation for a circular economy within the textile industry. How would I describe the Global Mapping Project in 3 words? Exciting, enriching, and collaborative. The case that inspired me mostly was the colorifics one because it's extremely inspiring what they do, replicating colors found in nature through DNA sequencing. We need you. The World Circular Textile Day collection is far from complete. Do you know of circular textile activity in your region, or are you involved in a circular company, initiative, or research project? Then join our global mapping project and upload your case to the Knowledge Hub.
Hi, I am Rosângela Marchesoni and I am PhD student from Brazil. And as a part of the Global Mapping Project, I've been mapping circular textiles activity in the field of traceability and transparency systems over the past 3 months. And I believe that the Global Mapping Project is needed because it offers practical and quality resources for all partners to accelerate the transition from a linear to a circular economy in the textile industry. It is also needed to expand circular economy actions, offering resources related to innovation, awareness, and circular strategies, allowing all stakeholders to act together. And if I had to summarize the Global Mapping Project in 3 words, I believe it would be collaboration, diversity, and inspiration. And the case study that most inspired me was from the company Lablaco, because it used technology to create a circular system that offers transparency for second-hand products, increasing producer and consumer awareness. We need you. The WCTD collection is far from complete. Do you know of circular textiles activities in your region? Are you involved in a circular company initiative or research project? Then join our global mapping project and upload your case to the Knowledge Hub.
Hi, my name is Adil Ahmed. I'm a master's graduate in environmental and resource management at Brandenburg Technological University in Cottbus, Germany. I come from India, and as a part of global mapping project, I have been mapping circular activities in the field of remanufacturing and upcycling industry over the past 3 months. At this juncture of the world where the impacts of linear economic processes are clearly evident in terms of climate change, the application of circular economy activities is daily needed to effectively utilize the available resources and regenerate the natural systems. So on a broader level, our work at Global Mapping Project attempts to promote and encourage the circular economy activities that are happening around the world. So this bundle of knowledge-filled case studies at Global Mapping Project could well act as a one-stop for the ones who wants to take the circular economy principles to the application level in their textile businesses. I have my personal experience at Global Mapping Project has been tremendous, learning and researching diverse dimensions of circularity, and it's also been inspiring collaborating with people who are determined to work towards the greater good. So there are many interesting cases in our knowledge hub. Personally, I have been inspired with the ones that are related to the pre-consumer textile waste, such as Zero Waste Daniel and Nudnik, making kids wear out of pre-consumer textile waste. We still need you. The WCTD collection is far from complete. Have you come across any circular activities in your region, or you yourself are a part of circular company initiative or research project? Then come join us at WCTD Global Mapping Project and upload your case to our knowledge hub. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marina Belintani. I'm a fashion designer with an MA in textiles, calling from Brazil. As part of the Global Mapping Project, I've been mapping circular textiles activity in the field of design out of waste over the past 3 months. This project plays an important role in supporting the transition to a circular economy by mapping and sharing circular business strategies through an open and collaborative online library. My experience working on this project was very insightful, powerful, and rewarding. What I most liked to know was that circular activities have been taking place in different parts of the globe and sometimes not necessarily relying on state-of-the-art technologies, such as Malay Eco, which uses local sources of raw materials and waste for the development of a new material. We need you. The WCTD collection is far from complete. Do you know of a circular textiles activities in your region? Or are you involved in a circular company initiative or research project? Then join our Global Mapping Project and upload your case to the Knowledge Hub.
Hi, I am Sneha Chaudhary from India. I'm a textile designer working with indigenous communities on natural materials and technologies. And I'm a part of the Global Mapping Project for the last 3 months. I had the opportunity to map the circular textile activities that are being practiced within the indigenous and community design systems, and how ethical and responsible collaborations can lead the way for the future. As we celebrate World Circular Textiles Day, it is very important to be aware of all the circular textile activities that are happening or have happened globally, to initiate collective strategies and efforts to bring maximum positive impacts. This is where the Global Mapping Project jumps in to record, acknowledge, and promote such circular initiatives. And it also acts as a foundation for anyone who wants to take a step towards making clothes circular and have environmental, economic, and social impacts. It has been an exciting journey for me. So many contributors from different regions of the world with their own ideologies joined hands to learn, research, and map these circular textile initiatives, which have been ideated and developed by so many beautiful minds across the world. And I also think that it is my responsibility to highlight and share the work of these people who are trying to make circularity possible. There is no single approach for circularity. There are many. While working, I came across so many different models for circularity, which are so different from my focus area of work, which is fascinating because I still get to learn and implement them in my area of work. So there are still a lot of initiatives are still left to be mapped, and collaboration is what is needed. So your contribution of your knowledge, experience, and work on circular textiles will be an inspiration to many. So join Knowledge Hub and contribute your cases. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Mia. I'm an artist, designer, and current MA student from the UK. And as part of the Global Mapping Project, I've been mapping circular textiles activity in the field of people and society over the past 3 months. The Global Mapping Project shines a light on the amazing efforts that are being made by those working towards a circular textiles future, whilst providing an indication of where we're currently at and how much further we have yet to go to reach our mission of 100% circularity by 2050. Achieving circularity within the textile and apparel industries requires people and communities to be at the heart of the circular system. My case studies have taught me just how crucial it is that we demand complete transparency across all tiers of the supply chains. The issues directly affecting workers further down the supply chain are socially, politically, and economically loaded conversations that we need to have. So we need you. The World Circular Textiles Day collection is far from complete. Do you know of circular textiles activities in your region, or are you involved in a circular company, initiative, or research project? Then join our Global Mapping Project and upload your case study to the Knowledge Hub.
Sorry, we seem to have lost the end of the films there. They will all be on our YouTube channel where you can watch the full set, all those amazing global mappers that have been uploading cases to the Knowledge Hub. You may have seen it earlier on social media this week. I was talking about just how amazing the work is that they've been doing. Having so many of them involved so early on in our first year it just really sort of made the project take off, made the platform take off. So mapping, finding whatever in their geographical or disciplinary area is of interest, and then writing about those case studies, uploading them. It's been brilliant. But we've been filling up the Knowledge Hub. So Cyndi, what does this mean for the Knowledge Hub? What does that look like now?
Well, I think that is the place, that is the shell where we're capturing all of the activity, and we want it to be from around the world. So it's not just the volunteers who've been doing this, but we want every company, every initiative involved and uploading information, whether it's around policy work, whether it's around projects or company strategies, anything and everything that relates to circularity.
I mean, I think that's the point, isn't it? We've got 500 plus cases now, but it's just a tiny fraction of what we even know about existing. So the more we can get uploaded this year.
So in time, see, what we're imagining is there'll be thousands and on thousands of these cases growing, and we've tagged them and linked them, and we can then collaborate with other people in making the data come to life in different ways. And that's going to be really exciting next year. I won't reveal too much of that and give too much of that away, but we've got this incredibly rich sort of data bank growing. What's going to happen next? I mean, what I loved this year was how Gwen did these sessions where they were like every 2 weeks, got everybody into big Zoom calls and got them to share their experiences. There was one of those social media platforms I don't know how to use, but so where they were keeping in touch with all their problems and answering each other's questions.
It was a real team effort, and it was every possible time zone from around the world. It's a small window when everyone could get together at the same time. Right?
Yeah, and done on a shoestring. So it's a great project. I'm really proud of it. We're now going to move on to a section we've called Spotlight on Founding Signatories. So Cyndi, what's happening?
Thanks, Becky. So there have been so many extremely meaningful initiatives developed and launched around the world in the past year to advance collaboration and to advance the ecosystems that are going to be needed. So the Global Fashion Agenda and Reverse Resources launched the Circular Fashion Partnership in Bangladesh, looking at post-industrial textile waste and matching that with recyclers as recyclers come to market. Accelerating Circularity had pilots in the US. They've moved to expanded to Europe as well to continue the work here. Fashion for Good, Sorting for Circularity project, Textiles 2030 here in the UK. I mean, they're just accelerating and expanding at pace, and those are just a few. So if you want to see more, definitely go to the Knowledge Hub, where a lot of this activity is being captured, as we've just discussed. And also you can see some of the films that a few of our signatories have uploaded on their circular progress reports this year. But next up, we want to focus on one particular signatory. We have an interview with Caroline Rush, the CEO of the British Fashion Council. And she's going to share more about a really exciting initiative called, well, it's a blueprint for circularity. And it's a report, it's a blueprint, it's really an action plan for circular fashion in the UK for an entire ecosystem. Really game-changing and super exciting, a step forward for the industry. It's for the UK, but it's got global relevance. Hi, Caroline, and thank you for joining us for World Circular Textiles Day 2021 to report, reflect, and celebrate a year of circularity progress. So you've been very busy driving forward circularity at the British Fashion Council here in the UK. Tell us a bit about the Circular Fashion Ecosystem Project. What is it? How did it come about? And why is it needed?
So it came about, we launched our Institute of Positive Fashion back in February 2020 with the ambition of really helping to set a target state for a more sustainable, equitable future for the fashion industry within the UK. And as you can imagine, out of the roundtables that then followed, is it became very clear that there was an ambition for circularity for many within the industry, but quite difficult to create a tangible target state so that you can visualize what you're moving towards. And I think that that's one of the outcomes of the report that we're very pleased with it. So with 8 months of research, working with a steering group, of which of course you were part of, thank you very much for your time and everyone else sat on that steering group. We worked with 3 Keel and a consortium of consultants really to help us bring together what that target state would look like, to help us move not only towards being a more environmentally friendly industry, but really thinking about future-proofing the fashion industry within the UK and looking at the role of all of the stakeholders. So not just thinking about it for a re-commerce, sort of rental new business perspective, but the whole ecosystem. And of course, thinking about the new roles and opportunities that will come from that, so that it's not about thinking about just reduction as an industry, but thinking about how, if by moving to circularity, we can create this target state, we can really address the levelling up agenda, that we're significantly reducing our impact in terms of planet and natural resources, but also really embracing innovation and thinking the role that that can play in terms of circularity. So we're incredibly pleased. We've got to step one, and we've had a fantastic response to the report. I think is that the visuals that have come out of it, as well as, of course, some of the actions for stakeholders, has really brought to life what a circular fashion ecosystem in the UK could look like, and a real understanding that we're a great place to start in terms of creating this blueprint, because we have regenerative farming, we have textiles, we have, of course, fantastic designers of brands, we have manufacturing, we spend more per head as it is at the moment, we collect more post-consumer waste. So we have a lot of the ingredients that are required to significantly move this forward. What it needs now is that framework and pathway to get us on that path very quickly, to accelerate towards that.
And congratulations on the launch of the report. I think it's hugely significant and is going to make a big splash going forward. I love the stakeholder diagram. I think it's the first time I've actually seen what's in my head actually there for people to be able to engage with and understand the connections between all the different stakeholders. So that was a really exciting progression. So on to the next question, quite elegantly, the fashion industry is global. Mm-hmm. Circularity, as we know, is very complex. And the report focuses on a regional blueprint for the UK. How important do you think this work is as a template for the rest of the world?
Well, I think if we can get it right within the UK, we have an opportunity to share those learnings with the rest of the world. And of course, many of our businesses don't operate, in fact, most of them don't operate solely within the UK. So by them really thinking about becoming circular fashion businesses in themselves, they are going to have to connect with supply chain, whether that's sort of textile manufacturers, retailers, consumers around the world. This isn't something that can be solved just within the UK. But of course, being the British Fashion Council, our lens is what can we do and create here, and how can we change the mindsets of industry, stakeholders, government and consumers to move us towards this, so that we can really share that knowledge with all of our partners around the world.
Fantastic. And finally, I wanted to ask you, so part of our inspiration for World Circular Textiles Day was the idea that that textile circularity is actually very much still in its infancy. And, sometimes it's hard to imagine just how much is needed to make it happen to really achieve a fully circular system globally. So the stakeholder connections, the logistics, the behavior change, the policy, technologies, all of these things that are needed to keep products and materials in continual circulation aren't even close to being in place yet or connected. How will the CFE project help to accelerate what's needed? And do you think we can fully achieve circularity by 2050 or maybe earlier?
I think that's got to be our ambition in terms of goals. We know that this is a decade of change, that the fashion industry and actually every sector and as citizens of the planet, we really have to address if we're going to think about achieving the Paris Agreement targets. So let's focus on doing what we can as quickly as we can. I do think that there's a fantastic opportunity to really think about innovation. As you said, is that within the report, we found fantastic examples of either businesses or individuals that are really addressing change, but maybe it's not scaled or it isn't scalable at the moment. And again, is that thinking about the ecosystem within the UK is that we do have fantastic innovators, entrepreneurial mindset, incredible academia that really could lead in some of this innovation working with industry. We have small designer businesses who, particularly our younger designers, are only thinking in terms of the mindset of how they can sort of have sustainable circular businesses. So they're challenging the sector as well, and can work almost as prototyping with our innovators. And then we have big business and partners that can come in and help us achieve scale. So it's about, for us, creating that framework, but also we want the government to play their part and to incentivize change, because with the right kind of incentives, as businesses will be encouraged to go faster than maybe they are through policy.
Fantastic. I like that you mentioned circular mindset, because I think it's a different mindset in terms of how we look at the textiles industry going forward and the fashion industry. So you're quite hopeful that through all of this work, we're going to get there in good time.
I mean, it's not going to be easy, I think, is what the research has shown, and something for anyone that works in the fashion industry knows how complex, how many stakeholders are involved in terms of getting a product to market, let alone what happens to it after its first life, as it's now been termed, when it goes potentially either into recycling or upcycling. And so we know that it is a challenge. It is not going to be easy, but what we're encouraging everybody to do is to come to the table, to use this as sort of the visualization of where we're going, and to really think about taking the action points as a stakeholder forward, and to work with us collaboratively to overcome some of the challenges that are going to be ahead.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking this work forward and for joining us today. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Download the report and BFC, upload it to the Knowledge Hub if it isn't there already, so that we could all keep an eye on it and how things progress. So on to the next section now.